you will stumble on success just from being consistent.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we did when we were on 313.
Take a little break from the crazy, try to recalibrate. Every day seem to be hazy, I see doom. Everybody sick with obsession, it's hard to navigate. Take your baggage out of my space, I need room. Reset. New world order. Reset. New world order.
What's happening? What's happening?
What's going on, baby?
Man, I'm good, bro.
Yeah, man. Good to see you. I see you with the quarantine beard out here. You know what I'm saying?
I still ain't got to my barber, man. He ain't been answering the phone. I'm like, what's really good, dog? No taper going on or nothing.
It's all great, man. It looks good on you, man. It looks good on you, bro.
Appreciate it, bro. You know, we back to our original selves, you know.
Listen. You know how I go, man. Listen, man, thank you for joining me, man. You know, just to let folks kind of catch up to where we're at. You know, my name is JP Reynolds. I'm joined right now by good brother Lance Woods. Really good brother. We're gonna have a conversation about physical wellness. And Lance, you know, it's interesting. You know, when I first reached out to you to do this, we were only dealing with the pandemic in the background.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And now we've had this added layer of an uprising as well.
Been a crazy year, man.
Bro, listen, 2020, I saw somewhere.
2020 has been crazy.
Ain't it, man? 2020 been it's tried to be 1918, 1929, and 1968 all at the same time.
Man.
There's a lot to deal with. And I think it's a really great conversation to have now about physical wellness, especially, you know, after the sisters from Unearth and Bloom talk this morning, a big piece of what they're talking about is in terms of being mentally well, especially right now with all the things going on in the background, is honing in on what we can control. And I think that's an interesting place to start this conversation about physical wellness. Because, you know, I think you've been a model. You know, I've watched you build your community and build a platform for folks to get in control of their physical wellness. And we know, I know this conversation is going to lend itself to how that bleeds into other areas of our lives. But I think that's a really interesting place to start, man. You know, and I would love for us to hear from you about, you know, how you got in control, what, you know, the decision you made to set goals, to get in control of your physical wellness, to be a model for so many people in your city and really around the country for real. Like, what's that process of getting in control of your physical wellness? What has that been for you?
Yeah. So first off, Lance Woods, co-founder of We Run 313. But getting in control, it happened long before We Run 313 started. Mm-hmm. You know, I started running in 2015. Mm-hmm. And that's when I think the getting in control of my physical wellness started.
Yeah.
But even being an employee of the Future Project and taking notes from all of the dynamic individuals that we came across in that space just made me think more about self-care. And I started running. Like I said, I started running in 2015. It was something that I discovered within myself was like a meditative space. Mm. Like in that space, I found that to be one of the spaces where I could, you know, set a goal and accomplish it. Yeah. Like right then and there, I could set a 1 mile goal or a 3 mile goal or a 5 mile goal and accomplish that. And then if I felt confident about what I was doing. Also, I started getting these like runner's high where you're running and the only thing that matters in that moment is finishing what you start. Mm. And so much like things was happening to me spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically. Yeah. And in those moments, I was like, yo, I want to share this with somebody else. And then I linked up with my co-founder. We put our ideas together and then we run 313. Yeah, man. But a lot of breakthroughs were happening in that space. So I was like, yo, I got to share this with other people, man.
I want to pull out a couple of things that you said just now, right? Like you said, it took a long time. Right. And a lot of times, you know, these things don't happen overnight. Right. Especially when it comes to physical things. And then you also mentioned goals. And there's been a lot of overlap between these conversations I've been having with folks in areas of wellness. And we talked about goals yesterday, goals and discipline when it came to financial wellness yesterday. And goals are such an important piece of what you talk about with physical wellness when it comes to like setting small goals and achieving those things and building on them. Then there's another added layer of setting goals in community, which I think you model really well, and accountability, controlling what you can control, but then also building around yourself people that can hold you accountable to goals you set so that you can continue controlling what you can control. How important is accountability, man? Like how necessary is that in these processes of being well, especially physically, and like reaching and achieving those goals?
Yeah, no doubt. Accountability is everything, man. Accountability is what's building the community.
Mm.
When they come into that space, they feel organic accountability. So
Yeah.
like when Joe and I first created We Run 313, it was no intentions. It was just like we both were experiencing the same thing and we wanted
Yeah.
to share with other people.
Yeah.
And we put a link out the first time we launched, May 4th, 2019. It was like 160 people signed up, 85 people showed up. But the encouragement and the motivation that and the inspiration that everybody was getting from coming to a space to do 2 miles, and some people had one probably never ran,
Yeah.
or two they haven't done it in a long time, and they accomplished that. It was like, yo, like, and we was like, we got to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
And even from the initial thing, it went down from 85 to under 20 people, but we kept going and we kept staying
Yes.
consistent, and people kept coming out,
Yes.
as we kept doing it. So having people that, and it ranged from amateur to experts,
Mm.
at the sport of distance running.
Right.
But the accountability helped me become a better runner,
Right.
because it was like those days when I didn't want to run, or those times where I didn't want to organize people. It was like, yo, it's bigger than me.
Yeah.
And they helped me remain accountable to the things that I said I was going to do. So it's just been making me a overall better human.
Yeah. And like you said, man, it lends itself to like this community building aspect. Because what I've seen, like when I came to do that kitchen session in your spot, and I think was that January? That feels like
Yeah, it
forever
felt like a
ago.
little minute ago.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
I remember I had to shovel snow before you came in.
That's right. Oh my God. Nah, man, but it's wild though, because like, for folks who don't know, like We Run 313 is a running club. It's like black centers in Detroit, what you built with community and with accountability. And I see folks setting goals. I see folks achieving goals and how that bleeds over into other areas of their life. It's so powerful, man. And one of the things that I think is interesting about the accountability piece is these different ways to achieve the goals, different ways that people can access, the different entry points people have to what they're conquering or what they're defeating, what they're overcoming. And I see, obviously, right now with COVID-19 in the background, a lot of folks had to shift that, right? Because gyms are not as readily available. But I think it's really interesting, though, to see how folks can adjust what it is they're doing based on any obstacles that are in front of them, right? So I would love to know, and I think it could be helpful for folks who experience this. Like, what are the how can we adjust to physical wellness, given that folks had to stay in their cribs, given the fact that folks didn't have the same access to community? What are things that you've done, or what are things that you've seen that can help folks transition into adjusting to this new world that's happening and still trying to achieve certain fitness goals?
The adjustment really just has to say, I want to make this change,
Mm.
like, and then just doing it and starting where you are.
Right.
Because a lot of times, people, they'll ask, how do I join, or how do I get started, or they feel like they have to prepare before they come to run with us.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, like, no, just come,
Yeah.
come get the experience.
Mm.
You don't have to be able to run 2 miles straight. You
Right.
don't need any of that. Come get the experience, and we're going to get you there. So it's really just making a decision that you want to change something, and then immerse yourself with the people that can hold you accountable to doing that particular thing.
Yeah, man. I think it's interesting too, right? Like seeing how this uprising has happened, and seeing people making decisions. I've been seeing people make decisions about where they're standing right now, who they're standing with, where they're not standing, what they're going to say, how they're going to show up. And we talk about how the physical wellness piece, like the fitness goals, physical wellness piece, lends itself to these other areas of life when it comes to the mindset. Because what you're talking about is the mindset. The mindset that, like, I want to change something. I want to do something that is going to shift my reality. You and I have talked a lot about like generational mindsets that we are breaking cycles, right? We are breaking cycles when it comes to food. We're breaking cycles when it comes to mental wellness. We're breaking cycles when it comes to spirituality and spirituality blocks. We're breaking cycles when it comes to our politics and how we show up in the world. And we've talked about how physical wellness is a part of all of that and how it has a role in all of those things. What would you say is the way that, you know, physical wellness and the mindset gained from physical wellness can impact all those other areas?
From a mindset standpoint, I think physical wellness, you have to put yourself in this mind state that, I just like to say, like, your mind is like a garden, right? And in order for your mind to flourish, you have to continuously work on it, because if you just let it go, then, you know, weeds will grow up and different things like that. So when it comes to physical wellness, like, you got to be mindful of what you eat. You got to be mindful of what you see. Too much of social media could be playing a trigger on your mind, and you might need to cut that off. You know, you have to be mindful of the type of energy you allow yourself to be around, because those different type of people could make you think differently, or different type of people can cause you to react a different way. So you always got to protect what you see, what you hear, and do things that put you in a peaceful state. You know, if running is that thing, or if meditation is that thing, or if listening to music is that thing, or if cooking is that thing, or cutting grass is that thing, do that thing. And it's no real one way to say, like, okay, this is the thing to protect physical wellness or to nourish your mental, but you have to do it. I mean, it's a lot of things happening right now, and you got to be mindful of that and protect it, because your mind controls everything from a physical standpoint, emotional standpoint. You know, your mind has to be very strong to be able to combat what's happening in the world.
Yeah, man, listen, and speaking of like that mind part, man, like, you know, I told you this before, like, I saw an image of you. First of all, I have a lot of respect for distance runners, right? Like, you know,
It's a
I was a
beast.
runner. Listen, man, I was trained as a running back, you know what I'm saying? Short bursts, you know, speed, quick short bursts. Distance running requires a different mental fortitude. And, you know, there's this image of you that I saw on somewhere on your IG, and you are locked in. You're just like, there's something on you. It's almost like you're in a trance, and you ain't even listening to no music, baby. Like, you ain't got no earphones in.
Yeah.
You just locked in. And I'm like, yo, what? I'm asking you this. This is my question for you. It's like, what is he thinking? Like, what's on his mind right now? Because I don't know how many miles he just ran.
Yeah.
But he's locked in. My man
I think I know what picture you're talking about.
Yeah, man. Like, what is going through your mind?
In those moments, typically when I do a race, I think you're talking about the picture when I was running a half marathon. For those who don't know, half marathon is 13.1 miles. I was running a half marathon in Miami. I had the run club with me. Shout out to my co-founder, Joe Robinson. And we had 31 people come from Detroit to Miami to participate in the race, right? So I set a goal to accomplish this half marathon in 1 hour and 30 minutes. Prior to that, I think my half marathon my half marathon personal record was like a 142. No, it was like a 142 or something like that. But I crushed it. But I had started training, and I had started doing all of these different things, and I knew I could do it. So in that moment, I knew, like, I can check my watch, and I know by the pace that I'm running if I'm on track to accomplish this goal. And when you're running a sub 7 minute per mile pace over 13.1 miles, it can get real tricky. Your mind starts to play on you saying stop, or your mind starts to play on you like, I can slow down and catch my breath a little bit. And you have to find it somewhere in your mind to push through what your body is trying to tell you not to do, or what your body is trying to tell you to do. You got to push through it and say, I can make it through this. So I think in that moment, I was kind of locked in, like, I have to stay right here in order to accomplish my goal. And when I'm thinking about that, it's an outer body experience, because it's not really about me. Like, yes, it's my personal goal, but I know that if I accomplish this, it inspires many, or I don't know who it may touch or inspire. And that's what it was about for me. Like, I think about my community, I think about my family, I think about just a lot of things. You know, one of the quotes that I live by is, it is when we forget ourselves that we do things that will be remembered. A lot of times I'll be doing stuff, man, I don't think about me, man. I think about what I can do to leave some type of legacy behind,
Yeah.
you know. And when I'm not thinking about self and I'm thinking about immersing myself within people, community, my family, that's when you like sort of leave legacy. So yeah, I'm just locked into all of these positive thoughts to get through to accomplish my goal.
Yeah, man. That's powerful, man. And I can, and I can see that energy on your face, right? Like I can see it in your body, and it's something that's palpable, and it does inspire. And thank you for inspiring us. You know what I'm saying? That's important.
Man,
And
appreciate it.
for real, for real, for real. Another thing you talk about is consistency. Continuing to do a thing. I see you post your runs. You do it on a regular basis. This is a lifestyle for you. This is not just for no photos. This is not just for newspaper articles. And this is your life. This is your lifestyle. And you've gotten to a point where you've built up to that point where you can say, "This is my lifestyle." I'm thinking about folks who want to start, who want, like you said, they may have in their mind. I'm thinking about people I know who are close to me who just want to start, but they don't necessarily know how to. They don't know what they should use, where they should go. What are like some household ways to just start something? Are there household materials? Are there household items? Are there like low points to entry where you can start and then stay consistent and keep going? What are some ways that folks can just get started?
Man, first, before I even answer that, I just want to speak about like consistency, man.
Yes,
I've learned more about consistency through this process.
of course. Yeah,
Like I don't have all the answers, man, and I will always say that. Like
yeah.
my mind is always open to learning, and I'm learning new things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Being consistent with We Run 313 and being consistent with running
Mm-hmm.
has opened my mind to consistency. I was having a conversation with my line brother a couple weeks ago, and he said, "You will stumble on success just from being consistent." And I
That's
was like,
good. Can you say that again louder for the people in the back?
You will stumble on success just from being consistent."
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we did when we run 313.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the moments where it was like, yo, we go from 85 people and then you go to less than 20 people,
Mm-hmm.
Instagram is all about instant gratification and looking like this, but we never stop posting. Like, we never stop posting our runs. We never stop gathering people or thinking like, oh, it's dying down or anything
Right.
like that. We stay consistent, and
Yeah.
then boom, now we got up to 200 or more than 200 people showing up for a run before COVID.
Mm.
So I just want to put that out there
Yeah.
about consistency.
Can I jump in right there too though? Because
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
said
go
was
ahead, go
really
ahead.
good, and I'm just like I'm thinking about the role of discouragement in this process, right? Because I feel like right now, especially with Instagram, there's this easy way to get discouraged, right?
Hmm.
If a thing, that's like you said, that's that blockage in your mind of when you're running that half marathon, there's gonna be things that your body tells you to discourage you, or when you're trying to do something really dope and it starts out really great, you got 85 people, and then you get down to 20, and it's like,
What
should we
do I do
stop this?
now?
What do I do now? And it's like
Yeah.
that push through that a lot of times, in my experience as a former, I guess I'm still an athlete, but as a former athlete, it's like that type of mental fortitude from the physical realm is what helps push through that discouragement, and that's like I think it's a really key piece that it's hard to it's one of those things you got to just do it, right? You got to just jump in and keep doing it. But it's that
Yeah.
thing where it's like if you tell folks from the jump, you're gonna experience discouragement. You're gonna hear
Mm.
that voice that tells you to stop. Like
Mm.
success isn't overnight. Or would you say? You stumble upon success, and you keep. I'm
Just
paraphrasing,
from you stumble upon success just from being consistent.
right? And and like stumble is the key word there, right?
I stumbled on it. Yeah.
Stumble, right? Like this is not easy. It's gonna be a stumble. There's gonna be some stumbling.
Yeah.
Man, that's powerful, bro.
I mean, even you as an artist, like you staying consistent is getting you to where you are. You taking opportunities when they come. Like you was doing the black hockey thing and it's like, yo, I can merge this in
Yeah,
as an opportunity to,
yeah,
that's dope, bro. Like that's
yeah,
innovation. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
And you doing that is putting you in spaces all around the world for people to know who you are because you a dope artist.
Yeah, thank you,
Everybody should know who JP is. You know what I mean?
thank you.
And you staying consistent is you're going to be successful. All you got to do is just keep doing it. When
Right.
people get discouraged because of life and all of these different things, then they stop.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to keep doing it.
I think that's one of those things that from the experience of gaining physical wellness, it bleeds into all these other areas, man. It's like that discouragement's gonna come. It's easier to push through discouragement if I know it's coming. So if I'm prepared, knowing you're gonna face a block, you're gonna face a barrier, then I bet I'm gonna jump. I know I'm gonna have to jump at some point. I know at some point I'm gonna have to lower my shoulder. I know something's coming.
Something coming.
Something's coming. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it look like. I don't know who it is, who they are. It's coming. So I think that's really a key piece, man. I do. But I interrupted you from answering the question that I asked. So I don't know if you want to still go back to that. Or...
So the question was, repeat the question. I got lost in that.
I was the question I was asking was about starting and how folks can get started. Even if they know some block is coming, how can folks just get started, especially using household things or just scratching at the surface?
Like I say, man, you just gotta just do it, bro. Like you gotta remove this sense of fear.
Yeah.
I think people don't get started because they're thinking about failure. Like,
good.
But the greatest lessons comes from the failures. You can't be afraid to fail. You know what I mean? Like, you have to be comfortable with that or get comfortable with it, because failure is a part of any process. Anything you ever done in life, you have failed. Everything.
Yeah.
So as adults, I think we shield ourselves from failure. But you got to embrace that. So getting started is like household items, or I don't know what it is that you want to do, but just do it. Like, just do it, right? Whatever it is that you want to do. If you want to lose weight, you got to start working out. You might not know how to get started, but just get started. Go to a gym, talk to somebody. There's people out there that's willing to help.
Right.
But you gotta first not be afraid to speak up on what you want, and then put it out into the atmosphere, and it'll happen.
Yep. Because when I've always been a believer that you take a step and the staircase will appear.
It'll be there.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna show up, and once you take that step, things will start falling into place, right? I think we speak things into the atmosphere, the universe shifts. We start walking in the atmosphere, the universe shifts. I think this current moment of uprising is part of that, right? It's messy. People don't know what's what, but people are out here and people are making noise, and people have been for years. This is not new.
For years. Oh yeah.
People and folks have been consistent. And now we're in this moment where all these folks who have been consistent, who've been raising this vibration, this frequency towards rebellion and revolution, now it's at this moment where people can tap in and say, yo, it makes a little more, it's easier to grab now because folks have been consistently raising that vibration consistently, right? And now we're here, and it's like, it's right there, man.
Yeah.
I do want to kind of give you like the last word here. Again, this is Lance Woods. We Run 313 is an inspiring organization out of Detroit and making a lot of noise, especially for a Black-centered running space and physical fitness space. And I want to say thank you again for saying yes to the conversation and for what you're doing and for joining me today, man. But I'm gonna leave you with this last word, man. Whatever you want to say.
Whatever I want to say. First of all, I appreciate you for thinking about me, man, and bringing me on. You a dope person, man. So anything that you want to do, bro, I'm down for the cause, bro.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it, man.
But last words, if you're looking to start running, even if you're not, just check out We Run 313. See what we got going on in the community. That's at We Run 313. You can check us out, werun313.com. Like JP said, it's just a dope Black space for runners. I mean, we encourage runners of all levels. We encourage all ethnicities, but it's powered by 2 Black men and an incredible leadership team of people who help keep this thing moving. If you have any questions or anything like that, tips on when to start getting running or anything like that, check us out. Shoot us an email, anything, and we're willing to help because it stretches beyond Detroit. We got people running with us virtually all around the world. It's just a dope space that exposes Black people to the sport of distance running. Our whole slogan is connect, run, and build. We're connecting like-minded individuals through running to build a happier and healthier community. And that's what it's all about. Just empowering the people to gain a greater sense of self-love, because once you're in that space, you'll start to think more so about yourself in a different way and develop a different sense of mental fortitude that can help you throughout your course of life, and it's going to apply to different areas. So
Yeah.
that's what we're doing, man. Just building community one person at a time. Yeah, that's it for real.
Thank you, man.
Peace and power. True.